There is nothing worse than having a broken nail around the holidays. I'm going to show you how to fix it quick. I'm going to start by just a quick cuticle push. Because the nails have already been done fairly recently, I don't have to spend a lot of time on that. But we're just going to take our e-file. I'm going to use our new dust collector. We're going to turn that on full force. I'm going to use our e-file here at about 15,000 RPMs and just feather through to remove a little bit of that product at the end. Now, because we're doing just a quick repair, I'm not going to try to take down all of that product. I don't need to. I'm going to leave that on there, but I do want to just feather through that free edge to make sure there's no separated product or anything lifting where that nail cracked off. So I'm just using our safety bit coarse, and again, just feathering through to remove that product. We'll switch over to our sanding band, and we'll turn our speed down to about 5,000 RPMs. And again, just feather through to lightly remove the shine through that area that I filed. And then I am going to go through and just gently remove the shine through the rest of the nail. Again, we're not completely removing all of that product. We don't need to remove that because we're not redoing the whole entire nail. We're just replacing that broken off free edge. But again, make sure that there's no lifted areas or any separation all the way through. Give the rest of the nail just a really quick prep, feathering all the way through. All right, once we have the nail filed off, we're just going to give it a quick dust, cleanse with our swipe. Really making sure to clean the nail, making sure there's no dust around there or dust underneath the nail. And then we'll use our protein bond. Now, we're only gonna need to protein bond on that natural nail if there's natural nail showing at that free edge. If you still had gel on that free edge, you wouldn't necessarily need to protein bond there. But because we've got natural nail showing, I am gonna do a coat of protein bond. I will go through and protein bond the whole nail just for that added insurance, just to make sure that I've got a good adhesion to the whole nail. Again, if you have that natural nail showing, I would do a second coat of protein bond just on that natural nail. All right, so on my nails, I actually do need to customize my form a little bit to make sure that it's gonna fit really good into my tight C curve. So my nail, on this nail especially, I have a really tight C curve. So I'm gonna take that little tab out of the center, and I'm gonna snip off just right across the top of the YN logo. And then I'm gonna set that right up into the well, or right up into that rounded area of my form. We'll pinch that together, open up that top perforation, and then I can get that right up underneath that natural nail. So by customizing that, it's really gonna help to get it nice and tight up under that C curve. And since we're doing a little bit more of an almond shape, I am gonna pinch that form together a little bit shorter. So now my form is gonna come straight out from my natural nail. And I do wanna check and make sure that that form is gonna be nice and straight and that I'm not having any gaps or anything between my natural nail and the form. All right, we're gonna start building out. I'm gonna grab my couple of different things here. I'm gonna grab my full UV LED light, and then I'm also gonna have my touch cure light, just in case I need that handy. I'm gonna start building out the extension using our Clear Sculptor, and just gonna squeeze out a little bit right onto my form, bring that right up to my natural nail, all the way from side to side, and then just kind of feathering that product down the length that I want. Now, if I need to, I can come back in with my brush and bring that right up into my corners, all the way up into that corner over there. And I'm gonna grab my tile here to clean out my brush. I'm gonna turn my brush around and just bring that product right back up into the corner. Now you wanna be careful that you're not getting product up on the skin here. So make sure that your brush is cleaned out and that you're only brushing back up to that natural nail. Do the same thing on the other hand, or on the other side. Looks like I did get a tiny little bit of product on that corner. So I got just a little bit of that product right up into that corner. I do want to make sure that I clean that off before I cure that. I don't want any of that gel on my skin. And I think I'm just going to touch up that shaping just a little bit to get that nice almond shape. Okay, we'll go ahead and pop that into the light. We're gonna freeze that into place for 30 seconds. Okay, so we've got our extension built out. Then we're going to take our base gel and we're going to do just a nice thin layer of the base gel right over, I'm actually going to put it right over the whole nail. And this is going to help to seal that extension to the product that we've already got on our nail. So just a nice thin layer, but if you need to, just take a tiny little bit more, kind of drizzling it right there between the connection. And then we'll get that back into the light for 30 seconds. All right, so once our nail is cured, then I'm going to remove that form very gently. And now we can refill in the color. So I'm going to use a couple of different gel polishes. Okay, so we're going to just touch up our color, our base color underneath, and just kind of dab a little bit of each color on there. And it doesn't have to be anything perfect. It can just kind of blend together. Even if you do get some of that color up over the glitter, it's not a big deal. It's just gonna kind of help to create our background color. And then if I feel like I need to, I can use a little, I'm just using a frayed out art brush. This is one of my favorite art brushes to use for techniques like this because the brush itself isn't gonna go back into its nice liner shape. So that's why I like to use it for blending and kind of doing those ombre colors. So pop this back into the light, set that into place for another 30 seconds. Our polish is cured out. We're gonna grab our glitters. So on the rest of my nails, I've actually used quite a few different glitters, but just for this quick repair, I'm just gonna grab a few of the kind of the accent colors that I really know that I used a lot of. So we've got Chess Tournament, we've got Burner Phone, Six Figure Fox, Battle Snake, Hope Scream City, and Hologram. So again, on the rest of the nails, I did use some other colors, but for just our quick repair, I don't want to take the time and effort to grab all of those different colors, so I'm just going to get a few different ones here. And these will all blend together. So we've got all of our colors that we're going to use. I'm going to go back to my base gel. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of my base gel. This one, I'm again going to put over the whole nail. Just a thin layer. We don't want to build up a lot of thickness at this point, so just a thin layer. I'm going to take that same brush, that same little frayed out brush, and just dab in a little bit of each color, each glitter that I want to add in here. Now I am going to kind of blend this into what's already there. So this way you're not going to see like a line of demarcation. You're not going to see where that old nail was or that broken off piece was. Everything is just going to start to blend together. So just adding just a little bit of each glitter wherever I feel like I need that highlight or that color, blending those all together. All right, and at this point, I think we're looking good. So this one, I could either pop that back into the full UV LED, or sometimes what I like to do when I'm just trying to do a quick fix here is I'll use our Touch Cure light and just freeze that into place for a few seconds, and then I can add in my second layer because our clear base gel, that's actually going to cure in the Touch Cure light. It's going to freeze it into place, it's going to set it into place enough to move on to our next layer. So just maybe 10 to 20 seconds or so in there. And then if I need to, again, I can add another coat of my base gel, blending that through. Now this layer I probably won't bring all the way back to that cuticle area because I'm not going to try to add any more glitter or anything back in there. For this one, I think I'm just going to add a little bit more of kind of some of those bigger, chunkier pieces maybe, so that I can really see those sitting on top there. All right, so you can see how the colors are they're starting to blend back together again. All right, take another quick look here, just making sure if I want to add anything anywhere else. Otherwise, I'm going to freeze that back into place again for another 10 to 20 seconds or so, either with the Touch Cure light or the full UV LED light. So nice and quick and easy. We'll set our glitters off to the side, and then I'm going to go ahead and cap the nail. And I like to use the Build Pink with my glitters because this really is just going to give a lot of brightness to the nail. Now, if we take a look at this nail, we're starting to build up some thickness, we're starting to build the structure. We've got more structure right through that area that we didn't file off. So we need more thickness, more at the stress area forward, but I'm going to start with my gel application kind of right in that stress area and then forward. So that way we're going to build up that proper structure without creating too much thickness at that back cuticle area. So we're not having to completely rebuild out the nail, just building through that stress area and then down to our free edge to cap all of the glitter. And if I need to, I can grab my brush, move my product, kind of thin and feather that out a little bit. Again, if you need to bring it back towards your cuticle, you can go ahead and do that. Just making sure we've got the proper structure all the way through. Now you can see that this one, the product is moving a little bit quicker. The room is a little bit warm here, so I'm actually going to tip my finger upside down for just a couple of seconds. Now this isn't something that I normally like to do on clients because they don't always know the proper angle to hold their finger, but as I'm kind of looking at this, I see how my product is flowing up into the arch. So I know that I can kind of tilt my finger a little bit or tilt it down to let that product flow into the proper arch. Once I have it in the proper arch, I actually just like to hit it with that touch cure light just for a few seconds to stop that product from moving. So this way it just freezes that product into place, it stops it moving, and then I can get that into our light for that full 60-second cure. But by holding that at that upside down angle, it actually brought all of that product right into the proper arch. Okay, we'll go ahead and cure that for a full 60 seconds. Okay, so our nail is cured out. I'm going to use a little bit of our swipe and we're going to cleanse that tacky finish off, and we'll go ahead and file out our nail. Okay, so we've got our nail filed out. I'm gonna just give it a quick dust off, get all of that dust off there. We're gonna cleanse one more time with our swipe. Give that a nice brush through, and you can see how all of the glitters have now blended from what was on there to what we added. And we'll go ahead and do one more coat of protein bond before our top coat. You wanna make sure that your swipe is completely dry before you add your protein bond, so you may have to give it a couple of seconds to dry, making sure that it's dry all the way, especially around those edges and around the cuticle area. So we'll do one more coat of protein bond all the way from cuticle to free edge. And we'll grab our new top coat and do one nice thin layer all the way through, all the way back to that cuticle area. And we'll get this into the light. We'll cure this for a full 60 seconds. All right, so our nail is completely cured out. That top coat is set. With our new top coat, this does not have any tacky finish to cleanse off. So once that's fully cured, you are good to go. Finish with a little bit of our rose oil to rehydrate. And you have got a quick fix on a broken nail. So that's not gonna take you any time, especially around the busy holiday season.